2, 11 and 10 in the Pac-12, so this will not count in their conference standings. Right now, 6th in the Pac-12. Meanwhile, Santa Clara at 21 and 19 of the year. Lots of power in the middle with Manzo as 28 career homers, although he has not homered in 0-1 with a 7.56 ERA. This is his 4th start, his 17th appearance. He's got the 25 innings. You see 29 walks and 29 strikeouts. So trying to harness his stuff. He can get his fastball up to 99 miles an hour. Generally lives in the 95 to 97 area. But pretty impressive with the fastball. Also throws a slider. And a big guy up there at 6'4" and 205 pounds out of Visalia, California. There's the Stanford defense. Plenty of speed out there in the outfield. Court McDonald in left field can really go get it. They've kind of moved some players around. McDonald has played out in right. Tonight he's playing out in left field. They moved Nadai over to right field for tonight's game. Hot to track it down out in center field. Your umpires tonight, Darren Hyman behind the plate. Mike Fichter is the first base umpire. Patrick Riley is at second base. And Jason Benson is the third base umpire. So Santa Clara, 7-11 on the road, ready to get it going here with John Bering to lead it off. Hitting at .325 so far this year, 7 homers and 23 RBIs. And he had been out of the lineup for a while, had a leg injury. This is the first time in 3 weeks that he's actually playing out in the outfield. He's been DHing a bit since coming back from the injury. Steps in the box. Volchko ready to go. Third baseman Becerra playing in case of a bunt. Same at first with Larson. And here we go. The first pitch of tonight's game on the way. And it is outside for a ball, 1-0, and we are underway. Just a perfect evening. No wind at all to affect anything for the outfielders. Lots of sunshine. That's a bouncer foul over by the first base dugout. 1-1 to Bering. It'll be followed by Brigman and Hipwell. Santa Clara, they've won 3 of their last 4 games. That misses outside, 2-1 the count. Bering takes, and it's there for a strike, 2-2. This is a Broncos team that has had 12 comeback wins, including Sunday against St. Mary's. So even if they get behind in the game, their lineup figures things out later in the game. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Bering, the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So Volchko fans him on the fastball. Volchko able to, actually that was a slider that he was able to hit the corner there, and Bering chasing it a little bit. But when you got 2 strikes, trying to protect. Here is Coleman Brigman. Brigman hitting .256, 5 homers, 28 RBIs. And he takes a strike, 0-1. Well, Volchko just trying to harness his stuff, learning how to set up hitters. And we saw him do a good job of that with the first batter. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did, says the first base umpire, Mike Fichter, on the appeal. So an 0-2 count to Brigman. We'll see if he goes to the slider again here against Brigman. The pitch. There is the slider. Bounced inside first. Off the glove of the first baseman Larson. Recovers and gets him at first base with Volchko covering. Nice recovery by Larson there. 2 down. I mean, sometimes at first base, just knock it down. And nice recovery to be able to flip it quickly to the pitcher, Volchko covering. Now Robert Hipwell only his 7th game. Wasn't available for a while earlier this season. 10 for 23 on the year, so when he's been in there, he's been hitting well. No homers, 3 RBIs. This guy is very selective at the plate as Volchko deals, and he bounces one foul up the first base line, 0-1. Hipwell last year had 45 walks, tied for 6th most in a season in Santa Clara history. The Santa Cruz native. 2 down, nobody on. And that one in the dirt. Volchko getting ahead of the first 2 hitters to get the strikeout and the ground out. Looking for a 1-2-3 inning. The 1-1 on the way. Slider in there for a called strike, 1-2. Well, he's really got the slider working so far. Coming out of high school as a first-team All-America in 2023. The 1-2 in the dirt. That's no fun to try to catch if you are Malcolm Moore, the Stanford catcher. I mean, when there's nobody on base, you'll still see catchers block pitches like that. Sometimes you wonder if it's worth it when it's kind of nasty like that. Break-even pitch on the way to Hipwell. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 2 Ks in a 1-2-3 inning for Volchko. At the end of 1F inning, the score, Broncos nothing. Stanford coming to bat on Pac-12 Network. Here is the Stanford batting order put out by David Esker in his 7th season as the head coach for the Cardinal. That leadoff hitter, Owen Cobb, he's been hot, an 8-game hitting streak and hitting over 400 his last 19 games. Doesn't walk very much for a leadoff man, but behind him, there's plenty of hitters that can do damage. Malcolm Moore, 13 homers, tied for 4th in the Pac-12. And some hitters at the bottom are starting to get going with their power. Larson has 2 home runs his last 3 games, and Haskins had a 2-homer game against Cal on Saturday. We already talked about Nadi and the amazing inning that he had when he had 2 home runs in the 5th inning on Saturday against Cal. That was an inning where Stanford scored 9 runs. We'll see what they can do here against Sebastian Schreiber, his first start of the season for the redshirt sophomore. His 15th appearance. It's been a rough go with a 7.36 ERA. So both of these starters have not pitched all that well. They haven't had many chances to start. And it was an excellent first inning in the top of the first for Volchko. We'll see how it goes for Schreiber, who really isn't expected to pitch all that many innings here tonight. He's also had problems with walks versus strikeouts with 8 and 8. I mentioned earlier that Bering had not been able to start in left for a while the last 3 weeks, but he's out there now after he had that leg injury. And Hipwell is playing over at third base after he missed a lot of this season. They have a solid middle infield in Williams and Cleary. Owen Cobb climbing in to lead it off for the Cardinal, grad student from Seattle, hitting .311 so far with 7 homers and 30 RBIs. Little breeze blowing in now from right field. And he takes a called strike, 0-1, on the 89-mile-an-hour fastball. Cobb very relaxed at the plate, and he lines one down the right field side foul. Falls behind 0-2. Yeah, Cobb is not your everyday leadoff type guy. I mean, he only has 11 walks. But I think Coach Esker doesn't want to really hinder what he's doing swinging the bat. He's been swinging it pretty well. He was 7 for 15 in the Cal series last weekend. And he's been driving in a lot of runs. He's second on the team with the 30 RBIs. The 0-2 down and away. 1-2 to Cobb. He'll be followed by Hott and McDonald. Now the 1-2. Line drive, left field, base hit. So he falls behind, but he just drills that breaking ball in the left field and now has a 9-game hitting streak. Just a very controlled swing for Cobb. Didn't try to do too much with it. Now it's hot up there, showing bunt, but taking a ball 1-0. Ethan Hott hitting .321, no homers, 9 RBIs. Not a surprise to see anybody on Stanford scoring around the bunt. They are second right now in the conference in the Pac-12 in sacrifice bunts with 26 of them. Swinging away here, though, and he takes a ball. So Hott gets ahead 2-0. The sophomore who did not play last year, getting his first action this season. And he grounds one towards shortstop. And it gets through Malcolm Williams into left field. Here comes the throw by Behring to third. Not in time as Cobb gets in. And Hott scoots over to second base. Well, that looked like Williams might have been thinking about whether or not he's going to throw to second base, try to start a double play or get the force, maybe thinking a little too much. That ball just got by him. That is scored as an error. So E6, runners at second and third, nobody out. Here's McDonald, and he takes outside 1-0. Court McDonald hitting .336, 3 homers, 25 RBIs. Infield plays back since we're early in the game. This one gets by the catcher Steck all the way back. In to score is Cobb from third. Here comes another runner Hott, and he's in safely without a throw. 2-run score. 2-run score on the wild pitch by Schreiber. It's 2-0 Stanford. Well, let's watch Steck here, the catcher. He couldn't find where that was initially, so by the time he ran back, and there's a long way between home plate and the backstop, it was no hesitation for Hott, who has plenty of speed, and he was able to score easily without a throw. Well, you don't see that every day on a wild pitch to score from second and to do it without a throw. That's remarkable. 2-1 now to McDonald. And he takes a called strike on the heater, makes it 2-2. So the fans kind of buzzing after that play, and Santa Clara has not started out well defensively as it fouled here going back. It remains 2-2. You get the error by the shortstop, then you get your catcher Steck, who just couldn't find it. He started out to his left, and then when he realized where it was, it is just a really long way from home plate to the backstop here. Kind of reminds me of the Oakland Coliseum. The 2-2. Bouncing ball into the hole at second base, gloved by Cleary. And that is out number 1. Malcolm Moore will step in. He's batting .243, 13 homers, tied for 4th in the Pac-12, and 29 RBIs. The sophomore who was a freshman All-America last year. .400 to straightaway center field here at Sunken Diamond. .335 down the lines and .375 in the power alleys as Moore takes the ball 1-0. Coach Esker telling us that Moore is still kind of finding himself this year and getting pitched around a lot because the pitchers know about his power. Curveball misses down and away 2-0. It's kind of hard to pitch around him these days, though, with the way Jimmy Nadai was swinging the bat against Cal last weekend. You really don't want to put Moore on in front of Nadai, who's on deck. Moore has been patient this year, 35 walks versus 21 strikeouts. Really good ratio there for a power hitter. He skies one foul out of play, way foul, way up in the air. 2-1 now to Malcolm Moore. Moore comes from Sacramento. We feel pretty much playing him straight up, except the third baseman, Hipwell. He's well off the line. Line drive to left field at Benning, and he makes the catch. So Bering, I should say, makes the catch for out number 2. That'll bring up Jimmy Nadeye. Nadeye hitting .325, 6 homers, 31 RBIs. And this is from a guy who last year, he didn't play that much, but he only hit .114. So a dramatic improvement from freshman year to sophomore year for Nadeye. First pitch to him. There's a strike, 0-1. So I was talking earlier about how he had 2 home runs in the same inning. The last player to do that for Stanford, which happened in 2007, was Michael Taylor. 2 home runs in the same inning. He did it against USC. Nadeye did it against Cal. Base hit down the left field line. That was just fair and past a diving Hipwell. Playing into the corner is Bering. And getting into second base with a stand-up double is Jimmy Nadeye. So Nadeye keeps it going. The hot streak he had going, he was 8 for 13 in the Cal series, and he rips the double down the left field line. His 29th double of the season. Second in the conference in the Pac-12 in 2 baggers. The Sydney, Australia native in scoring position. And here's Brandon Larson. Curveball in there for a strike on the inside part of the plate, 0-1. Larson, big guy at 6'6". He's homered in 2 of the last 3 games. Now has 4 homers on the year. Takes just low. And it's 1-1. Pitch is in the dirt. 2-1 to Larson. Center fielder Brigman cheated a little towards left center against Larson. Had 2 homers in the Cal series and 5 RBIs last weekend. Curveball fouled back. 2-2 the count. Transfer from UC San Diego, Larson. Two-two pitch. Ground ball right side. Oh, what a stop by Cleary. And he throws him out at first. Wow. We saw an error at short. We saw a wild play on a wild pitch. But that was a heck of a defensive play by Cleary at second to end the inning. 2 runs on 2 hits, 1 left. At the end of 1, 2-0 Stanford. Stanford up 2-0 as we go to the second inning, getting those 2 runs on a wild pitch. You can see all that distance between the backstop and home plate. It looks like about 70, 75 feet. So for a catcher, you really have to hustle back there. And Ben Steck, it's not that he didn't hustle. He didn't know exactly where the ball was at first. So that turned out to be 2 runs. Here is Efren Manzo to lead it off for Santa Clara. Broncos went down 1-2-3 in the first inning with 2 strikeouts against Volchko. And he deals a ball 1-0. Manzo hitting .296, a team-high 8 homers, 34 RBIs, but he has not homered in the month of April. His pitchers have kind of figured him out, maybe working around him a little bit. Got 28 career home runs for the senior. Stands in the back of the box. 2-0 pitch, fouled back. It's 2-1. Volchko striking out the first batter, Bering, and then he K'd Hipwell in that 1-2-3 first inning. Manzo swings and misses at the slider. 2-2. So Volchko looking for 3 strikeouts out of the first 4 batters. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. He got him with a slider down in the dirt. Manzo is out number one, third strikeout for Volchko. Pitch dropping down. Here's Michael O'Hara hitting .280, 3 homers and 18 RBIs for the senior. So Volchko does not look like a guy who had a 7.56 ERA coming in. Deals a 96-mile-an-hour fastball right there, 0-1. Looks pretty composed. Getting his 4th start of the year. Fires, and the pitch is grounded foul up the first base side. 0-2 the count. Brief break right there for Volchko. Back on the rubber. Here comes the 0-2 to O'Hara. Fouled straight back, and it remains 0-2. Right now, the Broncos just trying to make some contact against Volchko's heat and movement on his slider. Volchko's so highly regarded coming out of high school. There's a slider that's in the air left field for McDonald. 2 down. Volchko was ranked number 8 in California among right-handed pitchers as far as being a prospect coming out of high school. Number 37 overall prospect in the nation. And ends up at Stanford, a guy who also played basketball in high school. Here's Ben Steck. Checks his swing and takes a strike, 0-1. That was 96 miles an hour, and that's pretty much where Volchko is living with his fastball so far. And he likes to work quickly. Pitch down, 1-1. Broncos looking for their first base runner. Swing and a miss. 1-2 to Steck. Meanwhile, Volchko looking for his 4th strikeout of the first 6 batters. The 1-2 down. 2-2. Malcolm Williams is on deck. Well, he gets the ball and he's just ready to go. Shook off a sign. The 2-2 fouled back. Remains 2-2. Those signs are being called by the pitching coach, Thomas Eager, for Stanford. We'll call those pitches, and Malcolm Moore puts down the sign. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. Strike 3. Steck is strikeout number 4 for Volchko. He has retired all 6 that he has faced so far. Middle of the second, Stanford 2, Santa Clara nothing on Pac-12 Network. Plenty of sunshine here at Sunken Diamond. And the Cardinal leading it 2-0 over Santa Clara. Well, Stanford, they've won 6 of their last 9. They're starting to get it going, especially with the bats. The last 18 games, they're hitting .326 and averaging 7.5 runs a game. Coach Esker, they didn't know what to expect. And there's the improvement from February, March, and then into the month of April. You can see just the numbers across the board are so much better. And after a 2023 season that resulted in getting to the College World Series for the 3rd consecutive year, Stanford had 9 players that signed pro contracts. Here's Brett Blair to lead it off. Swings and misses, 0-1. So really they have all new players in the lineup outside of Cobb and Moore. All these other players had to gel together. Blair takes outside, 1-1. Blair has not played all that much. This is his 13th game, 4 for 7 at the plate. No homers, no RBIs. Currently, the Cardinal playing without Charlie Somm. There's a liner in the corner. Out in right field, O'Hara is able to get there and gather it in. 1 away. Well, O'Hara had to get over there quickly. Somm, by the way, he's got 7 homers, and he's had some clutch hits for Stanford, including a game-winning homer against Oregon State in the middle of the month. Beavers ranked number 5 at the time. Here's Haskins at the plate. He takes the ball 1-0, but Sam is out tonight. Tweaked his wrist swinging the bat against Santa Clara last week, so having to miss some time here. Haskins hitting .304, 6 homers, 26 RBIs. Gets ahead 2-0. Here's a guy who hit for the cycle early this month. On April the 2nd at Texas Tech, Haskins hit for the cycle. 3-0 now to Haskins. That was the first cycle for Stanford since 2011 when it was one of them pulled off against Santa Clara. Brian Regiris. There's a called strike. 3-1 the count. Brian Regira, I should say. Regira had the cycle back in 2011 against Santa Clara. Ball 4. So Haskins with a 1-out walk. That's our first walk of the game. Timo Becerra, the number 9 hitter, will climb in, hitting .314. No homers, 14 RBIs. Coming off a 4-for-12 performance in the series against Cal. For the Cardinal third baseman. He takes the ball 1-0. He's been hitting well in conference play at .348. Runner at first, 1 out. That's fouled back out of play, and it's 1-1. And Schreiber works his second inning in his first start of the season. Pitch way inside. 2-1 now to Becerra. Mentioned that Stanford had been in the College World Series each of the last 3 years. They're the only team in the nation to do that, to get to Omaha 3 years in a row coming into this year. Each of the last 3. David Esker named the Pac-12 Coach of the Year last year. So high expectations every year, really, for Stanford. That's fouled out of play on the right side, 3-2, but a little different team because of the changeover, and this team's starting to mesh together. What a series that was when they won 2 out of 3 against Cal, for the offense anyway. I mean, they won 8-6, 15-6, and lost 7-4. Throw to first, back in safe as Haskins. Stanford hit .355 in that series and scored 27 runs. Stanford has won 3 of its last 4 Pac-12 series. They beat Oregon prior to the Cal series, and Oregon is the 4th place team right now in the standings in the Pac-12. Back easily as Haskins. Not a guy who steals a lot of bases. He only has 1 in 3 attempts, but Schreiber is working on his move over there. And he does have a pretty good lead for a guy who doesn't run that much, but he's kind of edging back. And drilled at the plate is Becerra. Gets hit by the pitch. So 2 on with 1 out. There was just nowhere to go here. So Schreiber, his 3rd hit batsman of the season. A little wild. The walk and the hit batsman here. He had the wild pitch in the first inning that resulted in 2 runs. Not something you see every day, with 2 runs coming in on a wild pitch. And now they're going to talk it over on the mound. Rusty Filter, the head coach, coming out to chat with Schreiber. Rusty Filter, his 7th season at Santa Clara. And what a job he's done. 12 wins and a last place finish in 2019. The WCC, he goes from that to 36 wins and a tie for 2nd in 2023. That's the progress that he has had as the head coach at Santa Clara. Going from 12 wins to 36 in a span of 5 seasons. An interesting story. You have Filter and Esker, and their sons actually played together at Palo Alto High School. Rusty Filter's son, Russ, is a catcher for the Broncos now, and David Esker's son, Xavier, plays at Arizona, but they were together at Palo Alto High School right here in the neighborhood. Cobb at the plate, takes outside 1-0. Owen Cobb, he led off with a single in the first, later scored on the wild pitch. Now has a 9-game hitting streak. He's got Haskins at second, Becerra at first, and 1 out. Schreiber deals. That just missed. 2-0. Looked like the home plate umpire, Darren Hyman, wanted to call it a strike. Kind of leaned out to his right, but he didn't put his right arm out. Santa Clara getting some action in the bullpen. Strike called, throw to first, and it hits the runner, Becerra. As Manzo was over there trying to apply the tag, but he never got to the baseball. As the catcher stepped through behind the runner there, just trying to lead the first baseman, and it hit the runner. He actually threw behind the first baseman as well. So not on target there. 2-1 the count to Cobb. The pitch. Swing and a miss. 2-2. Will Pappas is throwing in the bullpen for Santa Clara. He is a right-hander. 2 on, 1 out. Break-even pitch to Cobb. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. First strikeout for Schreiber. Got him with a fastball. And that's 2 down. Not blowing him away. The fastball is 89 miles an hour, but it was placed well. And here's Ethan Hott, who reached on an error by the shortstop, Williams, and that opened the door for Stanford to score 2 runs there in the first inning. And he takes a strike, 0-1. One of the 2 runs unearned against Schreiber in that first inning. 2 on, 2 out. The pitch to Hott. Fastball misses outside. 1 ball, 1 strike to Hott. Sophomore from Paradise Valley, Arizona. Fouls it back to the screen. It's 1-2. Court McDonald is waiting on deck. The error by Williams back in the first inning. That was his 11th of the season. There go the runners, and it's skied foul in right field. Had a play. So Williams has made his share of errors, but he does get to a lot of balls that other shortstops wouldn't. We have seen a great play at second base by Cleary that ended the first inning. We know those middle infielders can go get it. See if the runners go again. They don't. Strike 3 called on the inside corner, and that does it for the Cardinal in the second as 2 batters in a row strike out against Schreiber. 2 left on base. 2-0 Stanford as we go to the third. Comfortable night to watch some baseball here in Stanford on the Stanford campus. And to hang out on the berm area out there for the kids. Little Tuesday baseball, non-conference play. Stanford up 2-0 as we go to the third inning. Joey Volchko has been dominating so far for the Cardinal. Retired all 6 that he has faced with 4 strikeouts. Malcolm Williams to lead it off. And he takes a called strike on the slider, 0-1. That pitch right there could be the difference maker for Volchko. Everybody knows he throws hard, but if he gets his slider over, it makes it that much more difficult. Pitch inside, fastball, 1-1. Williams followed by Cunningham and Cleary. Williams at 252, 3 homers, 21 RBIs. And he falls behind 1 and 2 as he could not connect on that slider. Now looking for a 5th K out of the first 7 batters. Volchko deals. A slider misses outside check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did, says the first base umpire Mike Fichter on the appeal. And that is strikeout number 5, 1 down. Really hard to lay off that pitch. I don't know that he went around there, but Volchko got the call. Williams didn't agree. Here's Kai Cunningham, the DH, the freshman who has been great for Santa Clara as a pinch hitter. Takes a strike, 0-1. He's had a couple of go-ahead RBI pinch hits in the last week, and he was named WCC Freshman of the Week, making just his 4th start as he checks his swing and goes around, and he falls behind 0-2. Volchko looking for another K. Did he go on that one? No, he didn't, says the third base umpire, Jason Venzen, on the appeal. So it's 1-2 to Cunningham. Volchko deals. Slider, swing and a miss, strike 3. 6 strikeouts out of the first 8 batters. 3 in a row going back to the last inning. And it has been the slider that has been really tough for Santa Clara because they might have been looking fastball, but that is not what they're getting all the time. Here's Ben Cleary, hitting 285. He's a freshman. He takes a strike, 0-1. Cleary, who made a nice play defensively at second base, the number 9 batter, no homers, 12 RBIs. Crowds the plate a little bit, takes down and away, 1-1. I mean, so far, Volchko, he's only had 1 3-ball count. He's been working ahead on these hitters. The 1-1. That's down and away, 2-1. Two down, nobody on. The pitch to Cleary. Fouled back to the screen. And now Volchko has a chance to strike out 7 of the first 9 batters. Retiring everybody so far. 2-2 to Cleary. Fouled on the right side out of play. It remains 2-2. Volchko, who had problems with walks, not having that problem so far tonight, the 2-2. And that just missed. Now it's 3-2 on the slider there. Second time that he's gone to a full count. Payoff pitch to Cleary. Strike 3 called. Got him with a fastball. Volchko getting a little high five right there. Strikes out the side in order. 7 strikeouts, and he's retired all 9. 2-0 Stanford. Should be a thrilling weekend of baseball in the Pac-12 coming up. Got Stanford playing Arizona this weekend. Also got Utah and Oregon. Utah tied for first in the Pac-12 with Arizona. So we'll be really paying attention to those 2 series. And Oregon right now is 4th in the Pac-12. So that's really good action right there. Cal and USC, Washington, Arizona State, number 17 in the country, Oregon State playing Washington State. Here's Court McDonald to lead it off for Stanford. He takes down and away from Schreiber, 1-0. McDonald grounded to second in the first inning, 0-for-1. He came in batting .336. Lines one up the middle, base hit. Almost hit the umpire over there. Playing it in is Brigman. His second base umpire, Patrick Riley, kind of froze in his tracks. But he was fortunate it did not hit him. Leadoff single for McDonald. And the third hit for Stanford. What do you do if you're the second base umpire right here? Boom. Oh, wow. Well, he kind of stepped out of the way. So McDonald, who has 9 steals this year, leading off first base, also been caught 5 times. Malcolm Moore steps in, 0 for 1 fly to left. McDonald drawing a throw over there. Obviously, McDonald has speed. I mean, this guy in high school, he played football, basketball. He also ran track. So we know he can run, and he played golf. So he was a 4-sport athlete. No, 5 sports. What am I saying? He's got baseball, too. So baseball, football, basketball, track, and golf. 5-sport athlete. 4 in addition to baseball. You don't see that very often. Coach Esker, he might have been, I'm pretty sure he was a 3-sport athlete in high school. So he likes having a guy like that on his team. Now to the plate, and the pitch is upstairs to Moore, 1-0. Well, they weren't sure how long they were going to go with Schreiber. They're working him here into the 3rd inning. Another throw to first. Schreiber, 29 pitches in the game. McDonald, not a huge lead over there. Always tough. If the lefty has a decent move, it's tough to get a good jump against him. And it looks like he has a decent move. Can be very tricky. Again, it's not a big lead over at first base, and the pitch is high for a ball, 2-0. The problem with taking a big lead against a lefty who has a really good move is that many times you find yourself leaning back towards first, and that's not what you want to be doing if you're thinking about stealing a bag. So it might be better to take the shorter lead, see if you can get a jump, but he's not going, just kind of testing it there. Pitch in the dirt outside. 3-0 to Moore. Sometimes as a pitcher, these left-handers who have a good move, you're paying so much attention to that runner at first, and then you fall behind the hitter like you're seeing here, 3-0. Natai is on deck. 3-0 pitch. Looked like he had the green light, but he's taking 3-1. Well, here's where Moore can really try to do some damage ahead 3-1. Get the barrel of the bat going. 13 homers. Tied for 4th in the Pac-12. Chopper base hit. Over first into right field. McDonald on his way to 3rd. The throw comes in from O'Hara to second base. Moore with a single. 1st and 3rd. Nobody out for Stanford. Well, that was what they used to call a Baltimore chop. I don't know why. I have to look that up. Why it was Baltimore? Was it because their field was really hard? But somebody named it a long time ago a Baltimore chop. That worked for a base hit, and that's going to do it for Schreiber. We'll step aside and tell you about the relief pitcher for Santa Clara. When we come back, 2-0 Stanford, and they are threatening in the bottom of the 3rd inning on Pac-12 Network.
There are many reasons why we play. They sow themselves into the fabric of your spirit, taking root and giving you something to root for. Our games stretch beyond the sidelines, only to get louder, bolder. It breeds a form of dedication that doesn't require an off-season. The game is always on. The crowd is always on their feet. And it's here where passion has purpose.
Welcome to Fandom 101. You ain't feeling better than going yard in front of thousands of screaming fans? Being one of those screaming fans. It's all part of the curriculum. The NCAA Men's College World Series, June in Omaha, Nebraska. Attendance is encouraged. Passion is mandatory. Buy your power tickets today at ncaa.com/MCUS. Time. Class dismissed.
The Broncos make the move to the bullpen and bring in right-hander Will Pappas, redshirt freshman, who went to De La Salle High School and grew up in Alamo here in the Bay Area. making his 5th appearance, all in relief, 1-0, and has not allowed any runs yet in 3 1/3 innings. Walked 4, struck out 3. So it'll be Pappas coming in here in a tough spot with 2 on and nobody out for Stanford here in the 3rd inning. They scored 2 runs in the 1st inning and took advantage of an error by the shortstop, Williams. Also took advantage of a wild pitch that scored 2 runs. So that was the undoing of Schreiber in that 1st inning. Schreiber gives up 2 runs, 1 earned in 2 innings and still responsible for 2 men on base. Jimmy Natai will come up. 1 for 1, the double in the 1st inning that he hit down the left field line. I like how they play Men at Work, an Australian band, when he comes up, since he's from Sydney, Australia. He's got a brother who's also going to come to the U.S. and play college baseball at Oregon State, playing the Pac-12, coming from Sydney, Australia. There's a strike to Natai, 0-1. Never been to Sydney? Figure out a way to get there. Man, is that a great place. Everybody's cool there. No worries, mate. There's a strike. 0-2 to Natai. 88-mile-an-hour fastball there from Pappas. Oh, 2 to Natai. In the dirt outside. Nice block there by Stack the catcher. 1-2. I was looking up in the break. Baltimore chop. I guess it was named back in the late 1800s. The Baltimore chop. That's high and tight. 2-2 the count. I guess the Orioles were known for hitting choppers back in the day. So they called it a Baltimore chop. Ground ball, base hit, right field. McDonald comes in and scores from 3rd. Stopping at 2nd is Moore as the throw comes in from O'Hara. 3-0 Stanford. Natai with the RBI base hit. His 2nd hit of the night. Well, he picks up where he left off over the weekend when he had 9 RBIs against California. He hit a double down the left field line. This time he goes to right field, showing versatility. So 2 on, nobody out. First 3 batters have reached in this inning. Here's Larson. And he lines one foul. That was deep, but foul. Stanford bullpen area. 0-1 the count. There's a strike. 0-2 now to Brandon Larson. Pappas checks the runners and deals. Just missed the outside corner. With the fastball, 1-2. Moore leading at 2nd. Natai at 1st. Nobody out. 1-2 pitch. Ground ball to short, should be 2. Williams bobbles. Goes to the back himself. 1. Throws to 1st. In time. Double play. So Malcolm Williams, well, that was a little awkward, a little clumsy, but he still makes the play for the 6-3 double play. 2 out, runner at 3rd. I mean, generally, you're just going to flip this to the 2nd baseman. But he stumbled and said, you know what, I'll take it myself. And just did get there in time and fashioned a strong throw to first base. So 6-3 double play, and here's Blair. He takes outside 1-0. Well, Williams did not panic there once he stumbled and still made the play. Blair 0 for 1. Gets ahead here 2-0. He flied to right his first trip. 3 straight singles, bringing home the third run of the game, but the double play makes it 2 down runner at third. Blair bounces one foul on the third base side, and it's 2-1. Blair, the junior from Gainesville, Florida. Right there in the heart of Gator country. Skies one to center field. Back on it is Brigman, calling for it. Got it. Inning over. But the Cardinals add a run. They had 3 base hits. They leave a runner at third. They've left 4. The end of 3. Stanford 3. Santa Clara nothing on Pac-12 Network. 3-0 Cardinal on top as we go to the 4th inning, and Joey Volchko has been dominating so far. He's already tied his career high with 7 strikeouts. He's K'd the last 4 batters. He has struck out the 7 of the 9 batters that he has faced, and perfect through the first 3. This from a guy who came in with a 7.56 ERA, 29 walks in 25 innings, but also 29 Ks coming in. He looks like he's really harnessed his stuff so far tonight. He's figuring it out. Top of the order, John Bering leading off, struck out in the first inning. Guy was hitting .325 at the plate, and he bunts after it and misses. 0-1. You knew that was coming at some point. Got to try something to get something going if you are Santa Clara. The pitch to Bering. It's down for a ball, 1-1. Bering, who also played football in high school at Palma High School in Salinas. It's the same high school that Coach Esker for Stanford went to and played sports. And was a 3-sport athlete, as I was talking about earlier. Bering behind 1-2, and that's been trouble tonight for the Broncos. Volchko is trying to get his 8th strikeout right here. The 1-2 on the way. Chopper right side. Off the glove of Larson. Tries to recover again. It flips it away from the pitcher covering Volchko. I don't think he would have gotten him anyway, but that is going to be an error on the first baseman, Larson. That's the second time tonight that he's had one over there that it bounced off his glove. Almost looked like a glove that hasn't been broken in or something. Just stone. And then tried to flip over to first base and didn't have a chance. So that's an error. First base runner for the Broncos. So going out of the stretch for the first time is Volchko. And the 0-1, or rather the first pitch is outside for a ball 1-0. Brigman 0 for 1, bounced out 3-1 in the first inning. That was that play I was talking about that Larson had where he recovered after he knocked it down. Couldn't recover this time. Bering has a lot of speed. It's hard to recover against him as he draws a throw. He has 14 steals and 16 attempts this year. Santa Clara, they've been really good on the bases this season. 61 steals, second in the WCC. Swing and a miss. Boy, Brigman looked really fooled. Like he was looking for the slider, and the fastball came in at 95, and he had no chance. 1-1 to Brigman. Brigman, last couple of games, 5 for 10 with a home run. Volchko turns and fires over to first. Back in safe is Bering. Last Tuesday against Stanford, Brigman went 1 for 2 with 2 walks. Swings and misses here, 1-2. And against the Cardinal last year, Brigman had a 3-hit game. So it's a guy who has done well against Stanford this year and last season. Crowding the plate a little bit. Volchko deals. A swing and a miss. Strike 3. Got him with the slider. 8th strikeout for Volchko. That's a new career high.
Robert Whitwell.
That slider's dropping down. Here's Robert Hipwell, who struck out in the first inning. There's only been one hitter in the lineup who has not K'd. That's O'Hara, the number 5 batter. Everybody else has struck out at least one time. And the pitch, Hipwell grounds it to second base. Cobb thought about second, no play there, throws to first, gets Hipwell, and Bering will be at second. He runs so well that it's hard to get a double play on a ball like that when you're the second baseman going to your left. So wise play by Cobb to just get the out at first. And each batter in the lineup has struck out the one time except O'Hara. And here's Manzo, who struck out in the second. Runner at second, 2 down. Volchko checks the runner and deals. A slider misses down and away, 1-0. Manzo, the senior from Chandler, Arizona. There goes a runner for third. Pitch inside, no throw to third base. Moore just had to hang on to it. Stolen base for Bering, number 15 on the season. Well, when you get a jump like this, I mean, he's kind of running jump. There's no way you're going to get him. Swing and a miss, 2-1. You better be safe in that situation. You don't want to make the third out at third base. So an error allowed Bering to get to first. Now he steals third. 2-1 to Manzo. Ground ball left side base, hit into left field. Bering scores from third, and Manzo takes the turn at first. An RBI single, the first base hit of the game for Santa Clara. So there goes the no-hitter. Hit that ball hard and past the diving Becerra at third. Now the Stanford lead cut to 3-1. Here's Michael O'Hara, 0 for 1 fly to left. That will be an unearned run. O'Hara, the only batter to not strike out so far against Volchko, bluffs the bunt, takes the ball, 1-0. O'Hara, the senior, is from Danville here in the Bay Area. Went to San Ramon Valley High School. There's a strike. 1-1 to O'Hara. It's always a little weird when a guy is squared to bunt when it's 2 outs because you're not sack bunting. You're definitely bunting for a hit. Becerra at third is in on the grass. The 1-1. Swing and a miss, 1-2. So now Volchko looking for strikeout number 9 to get out of this inning. His defense really hasn't had to do a whole lot. Not that many balls put in play. 1-2 to O'Hara. Check swing. Did he go? No, he didn't, says the third base umpire, Jason Venzen, on the appeal. 2-2 now to O'Hara, the number 5 hitter. Runner at first, 2 down. 2-2 to O'Hara. Foul back. Remains 2-2. Volchko having to work harder in this inning than he did in the previous 3. Manzo leads at first. Break-even pitch to O'Hara. Swing and a miss, strike three. Got him with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball in the inner half. And that retires the side on the 9th strikeout by Bolchko. One run does come in unearned. Middle of the 4th, 3-1 Stanford, 3 runs, 5 hits, and an error. Santa Clara, 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error. As we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. It'll be 8-9-1 coming up here for the Cardinal as they face Will Pappas, who came into the game in the 3rd inning after Sebastian Schreiber went 2+ innings. Schreiber ended up giving up 3 runs, 2 earned on his record. And here is Trevor Haskins to lead off. Pops him in the air right side. Second baseman Cleary backing up, calling, but now gets called off by the right fielder O'Hara. 1 pitch, 1 away for Pappas as he gets Haskins. That'll be Timo Becerra, the number 9 hitter. He was hit by a pitch in the 2nd inning. Stanford has had something going on in every frame. They've left 4 on, but they did score 2 in the 1st and another run in the 3rd. There's a cold strike. 0-1 to Becerra. Junior from Clovis, California, near Fresno. 0-1 pitch. That's high. 1-1. Santa Clara getting more action in their bullpen. Got some pitchers standing around out there, but not actually throwing, but getting loose anyway. There they are. There's a couple pitchers just going, hey, I want to go warm up soon. And now they are actually going to get somebody warming up. 2-1 to Becerra inside, 3-1. On deck is Owen Cobb, top of the order. Pappas deals the 3-1. Inside and low, ball 4. So the bottom of the order has been able to get on with some walks. There's been a couple of walks and a hit batsman for the 8-9 hitters for Stanford. And Becerra is on at first with 1 out for the top of the order and Cobb. Cobb is 1 for 2, a single in the 1st inning, and he struck out in the 2nd. Grad student who now has a 9-game hitting streak. He's been batting over 400 now the last 20 games. Stands straight up at the dish. Ground ball left side, base hit into left field. Becerra gets the 2nd and holds as Bering throws it in. 2 on, 1 out. 2nd hit for Cobb. I'll tell you, we haven't had rain lately, so the infield is definitely playing hard. That ball is shooting out there in a hurry. See on this ground ball, hit hard enough that no chance for Hipwell at 3rd base. So if you hit the ball hard on the ground, it's going to zoom out there pretty quick. Here's Ethan Hott, 0 for 2, but he did reach on an error in the 1st. He bunts, and it's foul. I believe that hit Hott somewhere while he was in the batter's box. Starting the error by the shortstop Williams that first time up. Here's that bunt. Yeah, it hit him on the left arm as he was trying to leave the batter's box. 2 on, 1 out. Pitch to Hott. Outside with a breaking ball. 1-1 the count. Hott was able to score the 2nd run on that wild pitch in the 1st inning. Great piece of base running. He never hesitated. He checks his swing, but he could not hold up. And it is 1-2 to Hott. It's one of those plays you just don't see very often where it's a wild pitch and 2 runs score. 1 from 3rd and 1 from 2nd. And Hott was the 2nd runner. He fouls it back to the screen. It remains 1-2. But this is a ballpark, Sunken Diamond, where you could have that opportunity because there's so much room between home plate and the backstop. And when the catcher doesn't locate it right away, and that's what happened with Steck, you can have 2 runs come in, and that's what we saw. 1-2 to Hot. Ground ball inside first, hits the bag. Fair ball down the right field line. Becerra comes in and scores. Throw to second, not in time. Stopping at third was Cobb, and it is 4-1 Stanford. RBI double for Hot. I thought it was going to be inside the bag, and it just hit the bag. Right there, I think it clipped the front of the first base bag. I think it did, unless it just took some wicked hop there. And Hot gets the RBI, his 10th of the year. It's a 3-run lead again for Stanford. Swing and a miss by McDonald, 0-1. So now 2 runners in scoring position here with 1 out for the number 3 hitter, McDonald, who is 1 for 2 tonight, a single and a run scored. Swing and a miss. He falls behind 0-2. He's been swinging a great bat this year at .336 with his average. But behind 0-2 here, infield has come in. A little more than halfway they're in. It's fouled back to the screen, and it remains 0-2. As Santa Clara probably feeling they can ill afford to give up more runs here in the 4th inning. Cobb at third, Hot at second. Pitch to McDonald. Outside. 1-2. Court McDonald, his brother Caden, is playing baseball at Princeton. So you've got a family with one baseball player at Princeton and another at Stanford. These are smart kids who are great ball players. The 1-2. Hit in the air, left field. Bearing coming over, lining it up. Makes the catch, tagging at third is Cobb, heading to the plate, and the throw is cut off. 5-1 Stanford on the sac fly by McDonald. Hot stays at second. So, good piece of hitting. Even with 2 strikes, McDonald gets the ball to the outfield. And with the speed that Cobb has, he's able to score easily. 2 runs in here in the 4th inning. And Malcolm Moore will be intentionally walked. So they're going to walk Moore to get to Nadine. Well, you go righty-righty here, but pick your poison. Nadine's the guy who's been hot. 2 for 2 tonight, a double, a single, and RBI. After going 8 for 13 in that series against Cal with a couple of home runs. So he's got 10 RBIs the last 4 games. And you're going to bring him up, but didn't want to face the left-handed power hitter and Moore. First and second, 2 outs. 1-0 to Nadine. That's in there with the breaking ball. Called strike. 1-1. Number 5 hitter here. He had 6 RBIs Saturday. That was the game where he hit 2 home runs in the same inning. That was the 5th inning against Cal. Breaking ball down in the dirt. 2-1. Runners take their leads at first and second. Nadine, who has 6 home runs. Swings and grounds one in the hole at shortstop. Backhanded by Williams. Fires to second to Cleary. Gets the force. And the inning is over. So the intentional walk worked out that time for Santa Clara and Coach Rusty Filter. But 2-run score for the Cardinal. RBI double by Hot included. 5-1 Stanford after 4. Well, Joey Volchko has been spectacular in the first 4 innings against Santa Clara. He has a career-high 9 strikeouts already, and he's been doing it a lot with the slider. We know that he has the fastball that he brings to the plate in the mid to upper 90s, but the slider is the pitch really that has devastated the Broncos so far in this game. Every once in a while, though, he is mixing in that fastball, and they're not able to catch up with it. So 9 Ks, 1 run, and 1 hit allowed so far as he deals to Ben Steck, high and tight, 1-0. And that 1 run was unearned in the fourth. It was an error at first base that allowed a runner to get on. And then Manzo has the only hit, the RBI single. Ground ball shortstop. Haskins charging. 1 away. The fielders for the Cardinal have not been very busy. I mean, when you've got 9 strikeouts for the first 12 outs of the game, that means that your fielders really aren't very busy at all. And that is the first ball that's been hit to shortstop for Haskins. And generally, that's a busy position. Here's Malcolm Williams, the Santa Clara shortstop, who has struck out. Bluffs a bunt, takes the ball, 1-0. So Volchko, in his 4th start, has been dominating. Here's the pitch. Slider, swing and a miss. 1-1. I mean, at some point, you might look for the slider, but that's hard to do because then you can't catch up to the heater when you're looking for a slider. Here's the pitch, down and away. 2-1 to Williams. Kai Cunningham is on deck. When you think about the overall staff for Stanford, they're averaging nearly 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. There's a strike. 2nd in the Pac-12. But their ERA as a team, 6.17. 10th in the Pac-12. Something that they definitely wanted to improve on. 2-2, bounced to the second baseman, backhanded by Cobb. 2 up, 2 down on 2 groundouts for Volchko, letting his defense do a little work here in the 5th inning. So it's going to be the first time that he doesn't have at least 2 strikeouts in an inning. He had 2 in the first, 2 in the second, 3 in the third, and 2 in the fourth. So progress here for Santa Clara making contact. As Cunningham, he struck out in the third. The DH tonight, the freshman, bluffs a bunt, takes a strike, 0-1. Well, that ERA for Stanford is a team that's going down big time because the run that is scored, that was unearned. Bouncing ball foul up the first base side, 0-2. You really didn't know what to expect from Volchko because those outings before, he was wild, and he has the great stuff, and we know how highly touted he is. But he is really showing everything tonight. The 0-2 to Cunningham. Swing and a foul at the plate. Barely got a piece of it. It remains 0-2. Yeah, with all these strikeouts, he's K'd everybody in the lineup 1 time. Has not struck out anybody twice. Trying to do that here with Cunningham. 0-2 on the way. Down and in. It's 1-2. Two down, nobody on. Let's go looking for another 1-2-3 inning. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Volchko again getting the high five from his catcher Moore. And a tap on the shoulder from his teammate. A 1-2-3 inning. 10 Ks through the first 5. We are halfway home. 5-1 Stanford. This is what's going on with the Pac-12 baseball tournament. 9 teams will compete May 21st through the 20th. 3 teams per pool. You got the round robin pool. That will happen May 21 through 23. And then 4 advance to the single elimination semifinals on the 24th. And then championship May the 25th. Check it out on Pac-12 Networks. Championship will be on ESPNU. Third pitcher of the game coming in here for Santa Clara, Caden Wooster, the sophomore, 6'8", 270 from Oakland and Bishop O'Dowd High School. So Wooster comes out of the pen for Santa Clara. He is 0-1 with an 11.74 ERA, making his 9th appearance all in relief. Giving up 10 runs, all earned in 7 2/3 innings. 13 hits allowed, 6 walks, 8 strikeouts. Opponents are batting .382 against him, so Wooster has really struggled. We'll try to turn it around here, and that's kind of been the theme of the night. Pitchers that have had a tough time throughout the early part of the season. But we've seen Volchko turn that around. And we'll see what we get here from Wooster for Santa Clara. Facing Brandon Larson leading off. He's 0 for 2. He's grounded to first baseman, or rather the second baseman. He swings and misses here, 0-1. The second baseman, Cleary, made a great play on him. The first inning going to his right. And he's grounded into a double play. And Larson's had a tough game because he's got the 0 for 2 in the double play. And at first base, he's made an error. So trying to redeem himself a little bit here in the middle innings. Takes a strike, 0-2. Pappas went 2 innings and gave up 2 runs on 3 hits, both earned, and walked a couple. Larson behind 0-2 here, leading off the 5th. Breaking ball in the dirt, 1-2. This is the inning where Stanford had the 9 runs on Saturday against Cal. A 9-run 5th. Coach Esker was saying that he hadn't seen that in a while, but it was welcome for a team that earlier in this year, they weren't hitting quite as well as they are now. I just missed outside 2-2. In fact, Coach Esker told us that they're winning games now that 6 weeks ago they would not be able to win. They just didn't have it going with their bats. Now they're confident. Playing in the overshift here against Larson, and he swings and misses, strike 3. He had 3 infielders to the right of second, but it didn't matter with Larson striking out. So Wooster gets his first batter. And with a breaking ball there down and away, and Larson just could not connect. Here's Brett Blair. Blair is 0 for 2, fly to right, fly to center. The infield goes back to the conventional 2 on each side. It is interesting when you watch Major League Baseball and you don't see that anymore because the shift is banned, but not in college baseball. It's legal. There's a called strike, 0-1 to Blair. Playing in his 13th game of the season. He is 4 for 9 at the plate. Wooster dealing the 0-1. Popped up. Right side of the infield. And who's going to call this tough situation? It drops in, and it's fair. And going to second is Blair. It's the twilight situation here, and I don't think anybody saw that ball very well. The catcher, Steck, never felt comfortable. He was the closest to the baseball, and it just drops in. The worst part for Santa Clara is that it dropped fair. You can see they're eyeballing it, and the first baseman, Manzo, usually that would be his ball to come in and get. Then he gave way, and it was also miscommunication. And I don't know if they lost it in the twilight, really. I think it was more just the miscommunication. Because Manzo, really, I mean, if he can get to that ball, that'd be his ball to get. Instead, it's a runner at second, 1 out, and here's Haskins. He takes a strike, 0-1. Now, that is scored as a base hit. That's scored as a double. So a twilight double, I guess you could say, for Blair. They have the lights on here, but it's that twilight time where it's tough to see the ball when it does get popped up like that. Foul back, 0-2 the count. But you knew that was trouble for Steck right away. He did not seem comfortable trying to get under it. And then at the end there, when the communication mishap occurred, it seemed to me like Manzo really should have been calling for it, the first baseman. 1-2 now to Haskins, who has walked and flied to right, 0 for 1. Stanford trying to add to the 5-1 lead. Number 8 hitter up there. Wooster deals and a slider in there. Strike 3 called. Second strikeout for Wooster out of his first 3 batters. He's got a good slider working. And here is Timo Becerra. Becerra has been hit by a pitch, and he's walked and scored. Two teams played last Tuesday. Santa Clara won 4-2. Swing and a miss. This time Stanford in front. Both teams will resume conference play this coming weekend. Stanford has their series at Arizona, a team that's tied for first in the Pac-12 and 14-7 record in the conference. There's a ball 1-1. Meanwhile, Santa Clara will play a 3-game series this weekend against San Diego, the first-place team in the WCC, so it's not going to be easy for either of these teams coming up this weekend. Ground ball, chopped to shortstop for Williams. Quick release, in the dirt, dug out of there by Manzo, and the inning is over. So the pop-up mishap doesn't hurt the Broncos. A runner left at the end of 5. Stanford 5, Santa Clara 1. Pac-12 baseball is presented by Watch Sports, the official live event guide of the Pac-12. Download today. The sun is setting on a beautiful evening here in the Bay Area on Stanford campus. We're at Klein Field at Sunken Diamond. I'm Joe Castellano. Great to have you with us today. A 5-1 lead for the Cardinal, and that man has been impressive. Joey Volchko, the freshman for the Cardinal, came in with a 7.5 ERA, but tonight he has 10 strikeouts in the first 5 innings. He's K'd at least one in every inning, and he has only given up 1 hit. Here's Ben Cleary to lead it off. Cleary takes a ball 1-0. He struck out in the 3rd. Every batter has struck out at least 1 time, and Cunningham has K'd twice. He's the only one to strike out twice. It'll be Cleary, then Bering, and Brigman, 9, 1, and 2 in the order for the Broncos. There's a called strike on the fastball. 1-1. Seen the fastball go 95 to 97. And a devastating slider as well. Cleary lines one in the hole at short, gobbled up by Haskins. 1 away. Ball was hit pretty hard, but Haskins, quick feet over there to get over to his right. Just a nice play. Because we've seen balls off the bat, they are jumping out there in the infield. And watch the footwork real quick to get to that ball. Got a nice hop that was knee high. Good strong throw. Now the defense working a little bit for Volchko. They were just dormant there in the first few innings. Here's Bering, who is 0 for 2, struck out, reached on an error by the first baseman, Larson. That pitch in the dirt, 1-0. That error led to the only run for Santa Clara, unearned in the 4th inning. The only hit, a single by Manzo in the 4th. Hit it to left field, a clean single. Bering takes outside, 2-0. Volchko has thrown 78 pitches. 2-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. Hasn't fallen behind many hitters. And when he does, seems to come back in the count right away, like right there with the fastball. Bering, who recently had a leg injury that held him out for a while, hadn't played out in the outfield for a few weeks until tonight. He just was put out there in left field for the first time in 3 weeks. Now a 2-2 count. Volchko looking for K number 11. Break-even pitch. Got him. 11 strikeouts for Volchko. Used the slider that time. Second time that he strikes out Bering, 2 away. Watch the slider. Just took something off of that one right there. It didn't have a lot of movement, but it was about 7 miles an hour slower than his fastball, and that works. Here's Brigman 0 for 2. Grounded to first, struck out. And a fastball high, 1-0. That's 97 on the gun. 5 runs, 8 hits, and an error for Stanford. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error for Santa Clara. Volchko looking for another 1-2-3 inning. Pitch in the dirt, 2-0. Tired 6 in a row since that single by Manzo in the 4th inning. Had a 3 up, 3 down first inning, 2nd inning, and 3rd inning. He was perfect through the first 3. Bouncing ball hit up the middle. Quickly to his right is Cobb. 3 up, 3 down in the 6th inning for Volchko, who is pitching a 1-hitter. Middle of the 6th inning, Stanford 5, Santa Clara 1 on Pac-12 Network. Well, that Broncos dugout, they've been trying to solve Volchko tonight, and they just have not been able to do so. And Stanford leads at 5-1 as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. It'll be the top of the order coming up for the Cardinal. Mark Marquis is here, the former head coach of the Cardinal, I believe. I'm told, anyway. According sources tell us. Coach Mark was 41 years as the head coach at Stanford. David Esker succeeding him, and now in his 7th year. David Esker used to be the head coach at Cal for 18 seasons and then moved over to Stanford. Esker played on the 1987 College World Series title team under Marquis and got to the College World Series as the head coach at Cal back in 2011. Was the National Coach of the Year that year, and now he's been to 3 straight College World Series with Stanford coming into this year. 3 in a row. Owen Cobb getting ahead 1-0 in the count. Leadoff hitter for the Cardinal. 2 for 3 tonight. 2 singles. 2 runs scored. Swinging a hot bat. Takes a strike, and it's 1-1. So now over the last 4 games, he is 9 for 18. And I mentioned earlier, the last 20 games, he's been over 400 for the grad student from Seattle, Washington. 9-game hitting streak now. 2-1 to Cobb. Coach Esker telling us that he's a streaky hitter. I'd like to see him get a few more walks. He only has 11 this year, but he likes the way he's been able to drive runs in when he's not leading off. And those hitters at the bottom of the order get on base. He's been able to pick them up. He's got 30 RBIs. Gets ahead here 3-1. Infield plays him to pull outfield straight away. 3-1 from Wooster, way high. And that's ball 4. So Wooster with his first walk since coming in the last inning. And Cobb has been aboard 3 times. That's his 12th walk of the year. Kind of hard to walk him. He likes to swing the bat, but that wasn't even close there. Here comes Ethan Hott. Hott is 1 for 3 in RBI double his last time up. He's also reached on an error and scored a run. We've seen him score around a bunt. We'll see if they want to play for 1 run here. Up by 4. He does square. He pulls it back and takes a ball, 1-0. Short lead at first for Cobb. Wooster throws over there and dug out of the dirt by Manzo, not in time. Cobb 4 steals in 6 attempts this year. It's starting to cool down here in the Palo Alto area. No wind, so that's good, but it's still comfortable to be watching the game. There goes the runner. Throw to second way late from Stack. And that'll be a stolen base for Cobb, his 5th of the season. Stack hesitated. Working on the base over there is Cobb. But yeah, that's why he hesitated. He didn't have the ball in his throwing hand. He juggled it in his mitt. And by the time he threw to second base, way late. How about the maintenance over there? Cobb taking the bag off, and he's a second baseman, so he's familiar with the base and how it's supposed to fit on there. Pitch outside for a ball, 3-0. Now, if that were me, I would not be able to do that. I probably would have made it worse. There are people in life that fix things, and I guess that's Cobb. He fixes things. And there are others who break things, and that's me. Cobb leads at second. 3-0 to Hot, and a throw to second. Back in safe is Cobb. Court McDonald is on deck. Meanwhile, Santa Clara, more action in their bullpen. We got a lefty and a righty throwing in the bullpen as Hot bluffs a bunt on 3-0 and draws the walk, a 4-pitch walk. So back-to-back walks by Wooster. 2 on, nobody out for McDonald. Henry Stewart is the left-hander throwing in the bullpen for Santa Clara. They also have a right-hander that you can't see. It's kind of blocked off there, but the right-hander is Jack Lazark. They've already had 3 pitchers in the game and planning to use more. Here's Court McDonald. 2 on, nobody out. He bluffs a bunt. No, he's going to bunt it. Third base side. And it's a beauty. The throw to first by Hipwell, not in time. A bunt single by McDonald. Seen a lot of hitters just kind of look at pitches and show bunt. And when you're a number 3 hitter, I almost don't really expect him to bunt, but he did bunt it there, and it was a beauty. So a bunt single for McDonald. That's his second hit of the game. 2 for 3. Loads the bases for Malcolm Moore. I especially don't expect to see a bunt when the pitcher just walked 2 batters in a row and walked the previous batter on 4 pitches. You would think maybe he'd take a few pitches, but it worked out. And here's Moore with the bases loaded, nobody out. And he checks his swing, and he went around for a strike, 0-1. Moore is 1 for 2 a single. He was intentionally walked his last time. 13 homers, tied for 4th in the Pac-12 for the sophomore. Runners leading all around. Swing and a miss. The all-speed pitch, and he was out in front of it, 0-2. Moore, who pressed a little bit, according to Coach Esker, when he ran into some tough luck, takes outside. His batting average of .243, not what he would like, but he does have the homers. Here's a nice opportunity to drive in some runs. Got 29 RBIs this year. Cobb, Hot, and McDonald on the bases. 1-2 to Moore. Foul back to the screen. It remains 1-2. Stanford up by 4 runs. It could be more. I mean, they've left 7 on base. Wooster likes the sign. Ready on 1-2 to Moore. Hit in the air, center field. Tracking it is Brigman. Under control, makes the catch. Tagging at third, Cobb, he will score. Going from second to third is Hot. And Stanford leads at 6-1 on the sacrifice fly by Moore, his 30th RBI of the season. Good situational hitting again by the Cardinal. They've had a couple of sac flies. If you're not going to hit it out of the ballpark, hit it in the air and still be able to get that run in. So now runners at the corners, 1 out. And a 5-run lead for the Cardinal. Here's Jimmy Nadai. 2 for 3, a double, a single, an RBI, and he has grounded to the shortstop. Swing and a miss, 0-1. You like the variety, too. The double down the left field line, the single into right. And it's kind of like when he hit the 2 home runs in 1 inning on Saturday. He hit one out that was a curveball, and he hit another one out that was a fastball. So saying, you know what? I could do it all. Doesn't matter what you throw me. The 0-1. There goes a runner from first, swing and a miss. No throw to second, just a bluff there by Stack. And that'll be a stolen base for McDonald, his 10th of the season. A couple stolen bases in this inning. Oh, and 2 here to Natai. With 2 in scoring position, he skies one to center field. Tracking it is Brigman. He's got it. Tagging at third is Hot. And he will score easily as the throw comes into the shortstop. Sac fly for Natai, his second RBI of the game, and it's 7-1 Stanford. On the play, McDonald stays at second with 2 down. Back-to-back sac flies to center field. And now Brandon Larson, who is 0 for 3, was robbed of it by the second baseman Cleary in the first inning. Made a nice play on him up the middle. It's also grounded into a double play and struck out. Number 6 hitter Larson. Wooster deals, and it gets behind the catcher Steck. And, no, actually that hit the batter. Yeah, it hit Larson. It hit him hard enough that ball bounced all the way back behind the plate. So Larson goes to first on a hit by pitch. Yeah, it actually hit right on his spikes. And that's why it went back so far. So 2 on here, and we're going to have a pitching change. That'll do it for Wooster after he walked 2 and hit a batter in this inning and allowed a couple of runs. Stanford trying to add to a 7-1 lead here in the bottom of the 6th inning on Pac-12 Network. Freshman right-hander Jack Lazark will become the 4th pitcher of the game for Santa Clara. He's out of Cardinal Newman High School in Santa Rosa, California. Well, there he is with his 5.14 ERA, 7 innings of work. He's walked 6 and struck out 5 so far this season. So Lazark comes in after Wooster was having some control issues here in the 6th, walked 2 batters, and both of those men scored. And he hit a batter for his last batter of the game, so he works an inning and 2/3. Well, the Cardinal got their scoring started early. First inning, they scored 2 runs on a wild pitch. Allowed Cobb and Hott to score. They had reached on a single and an error, respectively. And then it became 3-0 when Stanford scored a run in the 3rd inning. RBI single by Natai. Santa Clara got a run unearned in the 4th. RBI single by Manzo. And then 2 runs for Stanford in the bottom of the 4th inning. RBI double by Hott, sac fly by McDonald, and now the 2 runs here on sac flies by Moore and Natai in the 6th. There's ball to Haskins, 1-0. Beg your pardon, Blair. Brett Blair, who was 1 for 3 with a double. So Blair here with 2 on and 2 outs. Pops it up home plate area, back behind the dish. Here comes Stack, and he can't get there. Lots of room, but he just didn't locate it immediately, and it was starting to drop fast. 1-1 here to Brett Blair. Blair reached on a pop-up in the 5th inning. They ended up scoring it as a double, but it was a pop-up that dropped inside the first baseline. Miscommunication between Stack and his first baseman Manzo, and they didn't catch it. They didn't even lay leather on it. 1-1 to Blair. Hit in the gap in right center field. Here comes Brigman, and here comes the right fielder O'Hara. Calls him off to make the catch, and the inning is over. But Stanford, 2 more runs, taking advantage of a couple of walks. They had the 2 sac flies. At the end of 6, Stanford in control, 7-1 over Santa Clara. Stanford leading 7-1 as we go to the seventh inning. They'll bring in a new pitcher, Ryan Speciak, after Joey Volchko was special for the first 6 innings. I mean, really, he was dominating. He is our player of the game, brought to you by Rawlings. Look at the numbers as he goes. 6 innings. Gave up a run, but it was unearned. He did not walk anybody. Struck out a career-high 11 using the slider and a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Pretty much untouchable, and he left the game retiring his last 7 batters. So Volchko hoping to get his first career win for the freshman. Came in with a 7.56 ERA. That's going way down after the 6-inning performance. In fact, I see it's 6.10. But that's going to keep going down if he pitches like that all the time. So Speciak, 0-3, 8.10 ERA. Walked 18, struck out 22 and 23 in the 3rd innings. So the 6'1 freshman from Goleta, California, right there near UCSB, dealing a strike 0-1. Facing Robert Hipwell. Hipwell is 0 for 2, struck out and grounded to second. And that's outside. 1-1. Speciak will face Hipwell, Manzo, and O'Hara, 3, 4, and 5 in the order. Swing and a miss. Changeup right there. 1-2. That's been a really good pitch for him. There was a fastball slider, but that changeup at 78 miles an hour, you can see why that works really well for him. 1-2 to Hipwell. Liner to right field, right at Nadai. 1 away. That's 8 in a row retired by the combination of Volchko and Speciak. Here's Efren Manzo. 1 for 2. He has the only hit in the game for Santa Clara. An RBI single to left in the 4th inning. It was a clean base hit. And that one gets by the catcher, 1-0. Volchko giving up just 1 hit and didn't walk anybody. And for a guy who had struck out 29 and had walked 29 coming in, you wondered what you were going to get. And what we had was somebody who was in complete command. Manzo takes a strike and falls behind 1-2. O'Hara is on deck. Lights are now starting to take effect here at Sunken Diamond. 1-2 to Manzo. Pop foul back behind the plate and out of play. Remains 1-2 to Efren. Infielders playing him to pull. There's a big hole between the second baseman, Cobb, and the shortstop, Haskins. That's a liner foul. Went into the Santa Clara bullpen area. Remains 1-2. Well, he got his base hit in the hole there at short, and that's probably why Haskins has moved over so much. You can see that. Look at that big hole between short and second. 1-2 to Manzo. Popped up behind the plate more. Under control. 2 down. Nine straight retired now by the Stanford pitchers. A couple of freshmen is getting the job done in Volchko and now Speciak. Here's Michael O'Hara, 0 for 2, fly to left, struck out. Stands in the very back of the box. So Speciak looking for a 1-2-3 inning. Deals the first pitch way outside, 1-0. Well, his fastball gets to 90, which looks a lot slower than the 97 we saw from Volchko. There's a changeup, and that's grounded up the middle. Haskins fields, throws to first. They don't get him. It bounces by Larson, backed up by the catcher Moore. So O'Hara is on at first base. That's going to be the second hit of the game for Santa Clara. That ball had a lot of English on it as it went out towards the shortstop up the middle. And it was not hit hard, and that enabled him to get this base hit, really. I mean, by the time it gets to Haskins and he unloads it to first, tried to rush his throw there. So O'Hara able to infield single. He's on at first with 2 down, and here's Steck. The Santa Clara catcher 0 for 2, struck out, grounded to short. He fouls it out of play on the right side, 0-1. I mentioned earlier that Santa Clara has 12 comeback wins this year, including Sunday against St. Mary's, so you can't count them out. Although they are down here 7-1. That one's chopped foul on the third base side. 0-2 to Steck. Steck, the senior catcher for Santa Clara from Mill Creek, Washington. Transferred from Oregon State to Santa Clara. Took a long look into the dugout here. Trying to stay alive behind in the count 0-2 against Speshot. Checks the runner at first base, the 0-2. Check swing. Did he go? No, he didn't, says the first base umpire, Mike Fichter, on the appeal. 1-2 to Steck. Cardinal have out-hit the Broncos 9-2 this evening. O'Hara leads at first, the 1-2. Chopper, shortstop for Haskins. Comes up throwing to first, and that does it for the Broncos in the 7th inning. They get their second hit, but they leave that runner on base. 7th inning stretch at Sunken Diamond. It's all Cardinals, 7-1 Stanford on Pac-12 Network. 7-1 Stanford as we head to the 8th inning here. Actually, the bottom of the 7th inning, I should say. And Stanford will be sending up Haskins, Becerra, and Cobb here in the bottom of the 7th. And a new catcher in the game. You see him right there. That is Johnny Lutzo. Johnny Lutzo is the new catcher. The sophomore from La Jolla replaces Steck behind the plate. Here is Haskins to lead off the bottom of the 7th, and he swings and misses 0-1. Haskins waiting, and the pitch is in there for a strike, 0-2. Facing Lazark, who came into this game and got the final out of the 6th inning. Oh, 2 to Haskins, up and away, 1-2. He has struck out, flied out, and walked. 0 for 2. Last 18 games, Haskins hitting over 400. He's done a nice job at shortstop. We've seen it tonight. Line drive, base hit left field. That was a bullet off the bat of Haskins. Takes the turn at first and holds as Bering throws it in. A leadoff single for Haskins. 10th hit for Stanford. That was a solid shot off the bat of Haskins. Here comes Timo Becerra, 0 for 1. Got a walk and a hit by pitch, and he has scored a run. Number 9 hitter. Facing Lazark. First pitch to him. And that's a fastball in there for a called strike, 0-1. Becerra swings and misses at the inside heater. 0-2 to Becerra. Owen Cobb is on deck to follow. Fly ball in the right field corner. O'Hara coming over, and it's out of his reach, out of play. And it remains 0-2 to Becerra. Well, for Stanford, trying to keep it going. They've won 6 of their last 9. You're in a non-conference game, trying to end up with a split of the 2 games against Santa Clara. They're trying to win at home. They're 12-13 at home, which for Stanford has to be disappointing. They're the only Pac-12 team with a home record that's a losing home record. So trying to get to 500 at home. Got to be surprised that they are the only Pac-12 team with a losing home record. Bouncing ball, second base, Cleary. Can he get 2? He gets 1, and that's all he's going to get. 4 unassisted. Decided not to take the chance to throw to first because that was not hit very hard. Runner at first, 1 out. Becerra replaces Haskins at first, and here is Owen Cobb, who has been on base 3 out of 4 times. 2 singles, a walk, 3 runs scored. That's what a leadoff hitter should do. Singled, later scored in the first, singled, scored in the 4th, and walked, and later scored in the 6th. Takes way outside, 1-0. Cardinals set the tone right away in the first inning when they scored 2 runs, and they had the wild pitch that they scored 2 runs on. Good base running by Hott. Did not hesitate, and actually scored without a throw from second base. 2-0, the count to Cobb here. Cardinal trying to add to the lead here in the 7th. The pitch popped in the air. Hesitation out there in right. Second baseman goes out, and making the catch is Cleary. Becerra goes back to first. I don't think O'Hara saw that ball right away off the bat out there in right field, which is always tough. The lights, they seem to have taken effect, but sometimes they'll get up there in the sky and you don't see it right away, and he didn't react. You see him just kind of shuffling, not coming in right away, so Cleary took care of it. So 2 down, here's Hott. He takes way outside, 1-0. Hott is 1 for 3 RBI double, reached on an error, scored a couple of runs. He's walked. These Cardinal hitters have been really hot. Go to last weekend in that Cal series when they scored 27 runs and hit 355, and they have 10 hits tonight. Just about everybody contributing in one way or the other. There's a fly ball center field for Brigman. Drifting back on it. He's got it. And the inning is over. No runs, a hit, no errors, 1 left. 7 in the books here at Sunken Diamond. It is 7-1 in favor of Stanford on Pac-12 Network. Stanford up by 6 runs as we go to the 8th inning, and it's oh so important for Stanford to get runs on the board because when they do, when they score 4 or more, they've got a nice record of 19-10. When they score 3 or fewer, they're 0-12. So they don't survive very well when they don't score a lot. And that's because, as I mentioned, the pitching coming into this game was at 6.17 with the ERA, but things have really taken a turn. This could be the turning point of the season for pitching because Stanford starter Joey Volchko went 6 innings in which he gave up just 1 hit and 1 run that was unearned and struck out 11. And then Speshak came in and gave up an infield single, but no runs in the 7th. And here he is facing Malcolm Williams. Gets ahead 0-1. The pitch. Chopper, right side. Second baseman Cobb, plenty of time. 1 away. That'll bring up Kai Cunningham. It was 0 for 2. He has K'd twice. But he shouldn't feel too bad because his teammates were also striking out against Volchko, who was just amazing out there, featuring a fastball that was in the 97-mile-an-hour range. When he decided to throw it, he was throwing a lot of sliders tonight. That seemed like it's mixing it about half and half, maybe even more sliders than fastballs. Didn't walk anybody. 1-0 here to Cunningham, number 8 hitter, WCC Freshman of the Week, takes outside 2-0. It's quite a week for him to have 2 go-ahead pinch hit base hits, including one against Stanford. Had that bases loaded hit against Stanford on last Tuesday that was. And it turned out to be a 4-2 win for Santa Clara over Stanford. So trying to get a little revenge here, the Cardinal, after that loss. 2-1 the count to Cunningham. Cleary is on deck. And there's a strike, 90-mile-an-hour fastball, 2-2. Special deals the 2-2 in the dirt. So a full count here to Cunningham. Stanford at home against Santa Clara over the last 25 years, 26-8. There's ball 4. That is the first walk of the game for Stanford's pitchers. Comes with 1 away. Now Ben Cleary will climb in. He is 0 for 2, struck out, grounded to short. Santa Clara down by 6, looking for base runners any way they can get them. Shortstop Haskins cheating in as they look to turn 2. He's in several steps. There's a ball, 1-0. See, he's in a lot more than the second baseman Cobb is. And now the catcher, Moore, will come out and have a conversation with Speciak. There's a little bit of movement out there in the Stanford bullpen now. They might start getting somebody loose. In fact, yep, you got a right-hander who has a baseball. Coach Esker didn't have a lot of options because he used a lot of pitching last weekend against Cal. Mentioned that Cassius Thomas could be somebody that sees action. Chopper first base, handled by Larson, throws to second safe as he threw it wide. And that is going to be the second error of the game on Larson. Puts 2 runners on. I mean, it looked like an easy enough play. Maybe you even go to the bag and tag it, but he decided, okay, I'll get that lead runner, and he threw way wide. The shortstop, Haskins, had to come off the base to catch that one. So the second error of the game for Larson. 2 on, 1 out, top of the order, Bering. Bering 0 for 3, 2 Ks, and he reached on an error by Larson in the 4th inning. Special deals, and the pitch outside and low with a changeup. 1-0, started him with the change there. Well, Larson came into this game with just 1 error in his first 27 games, but he's made a couple of errors over first base tonight. 1 with a glove, 1 with a throw. Base hit right field by Bering. Held up at third base is Cunningham, and the bases are loaded. So John Bering with the base hit, the 3rd hit of the game for Santa Clara. As he jumped on this pitch, good balance on that swing. And if Santa Clara is going to get back in the game, They are going to need something to happen right here with the bases loaded. First, we're going to have a conversation at the mound. Thomas Eager, the pitching coach, is coming out there. So Coach Eager will have a conversation with Speciak. Speaking of pitching coaches, how about the former pitching coach for Stanford, now head coach of the Broncos? That is Rusty Filter. And he had 22 Cardinal pitchers selected in the MLB draft during his tenure at Stanford. Yeah, they have just developed so many. Longtime assistant under Mark Marquis. Well, it goes back to, I remember when Mike Messina pitched here at Stanford. Back in, I'm pretty sure he was part of that 87 team that won the national championship. And, of course, David Esker, also a part of that team under Mark Marquis. Well, Stanford has a right-hander in the pen. I could not tell you who that is. I could not see his number. But Speciak will try to get out of this here. Bases loaded, 1 out. And Coleman Brigman at the plate, 0 for 3. First pitch. And a breaking ball in there for a called strike, 0-1. Brigman has bounced to first, struck out, bounced to second. He's got Cunningham at third, Cleary at second, and Bering at first. 1 out. Pitch. Brigman lines one towards second. Couple of bounces. Fielded. Cobb throws to first in time. A run scores Cunningham from third. But Cobb made the play quickly to first base to get Brigman, who gets an RBI out of that. And the score is now 7-2 in favor of Stanford. That ball seemed to take a while to get there, the way it just dropped. But Cobb stayed calm and got the out. So now you have second and third with 2 outs for Hipwell. He is 0 for 3 in the game. Struck out, grounded to second, fly to right. Speciak deals, and it's fouled back out of play. 0-1 to Hipwell, number 3 hitter. Playing in just his 7th game. He's 10 for 26 to plate. Manzo, who has power on deck. If they get to him, it could change the whole complexion of the game. 0-1 to Hipwell. Inside corner, called strike, 0-2. Threw the slider right there. Nice pitch by Speciak. Mixing his slider, got good change on the fastball. What did he throw here on 0-2 to Hipwell? 2 runners in scoring position. The pitch, way high. Tried to overthrow the fastball. Maybe he was just trying to climb the ladder with it. 1-2. It's one of those situations where he does not have to throw a strike for a while to try to waste one again here. Moore, the catcher, setting up outside. The pitch, down, 2-2. Hipwell not biting. This is a guy who had 45 walks last year, tied for 6th in program history in a single season for Santa Clara. So he has a great idea of the strike zone. The 2-2 to Hipwell. Inside gets behind Moore all the way back. A run will score as coming in is Cleary. And getting to third is Bering. And now it is 7-3 Stanford. 2 runs are in here in the 8th inning. So now the wild pitch bites the Cardinal. Special unleashing one there. Full count here to Hipwell. Payoff pitch. Way outside. Ball 4. The changeup did not work. And Hipwell draws a walk, the second walk of the inning against Speciak. And now you've got 2 on with 2 outs, and Speciak will be pulled from this game. With Manzo coming up, and suddenly it's a 4-run deficit, and he's got a lot of power. If he were to go yard, all of a sudden it'd be a 1-run game. So Cardinal not taking any chances, and they will go to their third pitcher of the game. We'll step aside. 7-3 Stanford here in the top half of the 8th inning here at Klein Field at Sunken Diamond. Be right back. Well, the Cardinals, they've given up 3 runs, but none of them have been earned because of a couple of errors at first base by Brandon Larson. Now we're going to see Ben Reimers coming into the game out of the bullpen after Spashak went 1 2/3. Reimers 3-1, 10.41 ERA, 27 2/3 innings, 18 walks, 24 strikeouts for Reimers. So he's given up 32 earned runs in 27 2/3 innings. It's been a struggle for him, and he's coming into a spot here where it should be interesting, facing a power hitter, and he's a freshman from Aliso Viejo, California, 6'3" right-hander. He'll come in here with 2 on, 2 outs, and Efren Manzo stepping in. Manzo has 28 career home runs, senior, and 8 home runs this year to lead the club, but no home runs in April, so he's kind of due. And if he were to go deep here, could make it a 1-run game. Manzo had the first hit of this game, broke up the no-hitter in the 4th inning that Volchko had going. That was an RBI single. He's 1 for 3. He's also struck out and popped up to the catcher. So Manzo against Reimers, who throws fastball slider. Cleanup hitter at the plate, runners at the corners. First pitch to Manzo. Upstairs, 1-0. Bering is the runner at third. He's singled, and Hipwell at first walked. One out to Manzo. Hit in the air, right field. Backing up on it is Nadai. Got it. Inning over. Good job by Reimers. 2 runs do come in for Santa Clara, both unearned. They leave 2 men on base. We go to the bottom of the 8th. 7-3, Stanford on top. Pac-12 baseball is presented by Rawlings. Champions choose Rawlings. Now we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Stanford up by 4 runs. And the Broncos choose to go to their 5th pitcher of the game. That's Henry Stewart. He has not seen a lot of action, only his 4th appearance here, all in relief. He's given up 2 runs, 3 hits in an inning and a third so far. No walks, no strikeouts for Henry Stewart, who was a sophomore from Lakewood, Colorado. Joe Castellano with you. Great to have you with us for this non-conference game. Stanford has been in front all the way as Court McDonald takes the ball 1-0. McDonald has 2 hits in 3 official at-bats. Had a bunt single his last time up. Another single earlier. Called strike. 1-1 the count. Had a sac fly in the 4th inning. Cardinals have had 3 sac flies in this game. There's a called strike, 1-2. Donald had one of them. They had back-to-back sac flies by Moore and Nadai. That pitch is upstairs, 2-2. Stewart likes to work quickly. It's good for college pitchers to learn how to work quickly, because if they ever get to the big leagues, you got to work quickly. You got a clock. Strike 3 called. McDonald took the fastball that had a lot of movement on it and is out number 1. That was a good framing job by the catcher, Lutzo, as well. And that's something that might be a thing of the past in baseball, is the framing by catchers if they ever go to the computer strikes, or computer umpires, I should say, computer strike zone and computer umpires, which I kind of hope they don't. I might be in the minority, but I like seeing a real umpire out there as Malcolm Moore takes a strike 0-1. Yeah, they're not flawless, but it's a human game. But if we do see the computer umps, then you won't see the framing anymore by catchers. That'll be a moot point. There's your home plate umpire, Darren Hyman, tonight. 1-1 pitch, way outside, 2-1 to Malcolm Moore. He is 1 for 2 tonight, a single. He's got a sac fly for his 30th RBI of the season. He's also been intentionally walked. The sophomore waits, and he swings and hits one off the end of the bat foul. 2-2 to Malcolm. Freshman All-America last year. Kind of talking to somebody there. Maybe he's talking to the umpire. Want to make sure of the count, I believe. 2-2. Here it is. Whack to first. Oh, it's caught by Manzo at first base. Picked it out of midair. A little smile on his face, I think, because that was a fun play to make. That was zooming over him, and he jumped up and snared it. Exit velocity of 96 miles an hour on that one. Right into the first baseman's mitt of Manzo. 2 down. Here's Jimmy Nadai. Nadai is 2 for 3, takes way outside. He's got a double, a single, an RBI in the third, another RBI in the sixth. So 2 ribbies tonight, and a sac fly. Now 33 RBIs on the season. He's got 11 RBIs the last 4 games. Fly ball center field straight away. Not hit well enough to get out of here as Brigman makes the play, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Stewart's. Now the Cardinal, every inning they had something going in this one until that 8th inning. They lead at 7-3 as we go to the 9th on Pac-12 Network. Ben Reimers will continue on here after he got the last out of the 8th inning. There are some defensive changes for Stanford. Jimmy Natai is moving from right field to first base. There he is. And we've got a new right fielder, which we'll tell you about. I believe that new right fielder is Brady Reynolds. Yes, it is. So Brady Reynolds is now around and right. Here is Michael O'Hara to lead off the 9th inning for Santa Clara, down by 4 runs, and he skies one to left field. McDonald coming over, but runs out of real estate, and it is 0-1 to O'Hara. O'Hara 1 for 3, an infield single in the 7th. Hits have been hard to come by for Santa Clara. They only have 3 of them tonight. And they have 3 runs. And all of those runs are unearned. Line drive, right field, base hit. There's a 4th hit as O'Hara gets his 2nd knock of the game. Volchko, the starter, gave up just 1 hit in 6 innings and struck out 11. Here's Johnny Lutzo batting for the first time. Came in as the catcher for Santa Clara. So Lutzo on the year batting 171. Breaking ball in there for a strike, 0-1. No homers, 2 RBIs for Lutzo. 7 hits and 41 at bats. O'Hara at first, nobody out. Lutzo takes a strike. and it's 0-2. Lutzow, the sophomore from La Jolla, California, San Diego area. Malcolm Williams on deck to follow Lutzow. The pitch upstairs, like a breaking ball. It didn't break. And it's 1-2 to Lutzow. Stanford will be playing at Arizona next weekend, or this weekend coming up, I should say. And after that, they play Arizona State over Mother's Day weekend. So the Arizona schools lofted over the shortstop, base hit into left field as McDonald picks it up out there. And the Broncos are not giving up. They have 2 base hits here to start the 9th inning. 2 on, nobody out for Williams. That ball was not hit hard by Lutzow. It just kind of reached out and flicked it into left field over Haskins there. So down by 4. Santa Clara needs another base runner to bring the potential tying run to the plate. Williams 0 for 3, struck out, grounded out to second twice. Liner left field hit well. McDonald going back. It's over his head. Bounces and hits the wall. O'Hara coming around third. He will score. Stopping at third base is Lutzow. And Williams is in at second base with an RBI double. That makes it 7-4 Stanford. So O'Hara scoring, Lutzow now at third, and that was really belted. That's the hardest hit ball of the night by Santa Clara, just zooming over the head of McDonald in left field. So Williams made an error at shortstop early in this game that led to 2 unearned runs for Stanford. That was back in the first inning. He comes through with the bat, and now we get another conversation at the mound. And no, we're actually going to have a pitching change. So Thomas Eager makes the change, and we'll get our 4th pitcher of the game for Stanford as Reimers leaves, giving up that run, the first earned run allowed by Stanford pitching.
The Pac-12 spring pastime continues with the 3rd annual Pac-12 baseball tournament. The top 9 teams in the conference battling it out on the diamond. Live from Scottsdale Stadium, the perfect destination for any road trip. So grab your glove and put on your rally caps and score your seats now to the greatest show on dirt. The 2024 Pac-12 baseball tournament, May 21st through 25th. Visit pac-12.com/tickets.
On campuses nationwide, the NCAA is making transformative changes for student athletes. While they pursue their biggest dreams, we're launching new initiatives to help them. Life-changing education opportunities are just the start. The NCAA is providing enhanced mental health services. We're guaranteeing scholarships and tuition and expanding access to healthcare. Visit ncaa.org/change to learn more.
Well, Santa Clara trying to do some damage here and make a late comeback, and they're going to face their 4th pitcher tonight for Stanford. As coming out of the pen is Moore, Trevor Moore, 3-0, 5.12 ERA for Trevor. 45 2/3 innings. He has struck out 47, walked 19. So Moore making his 21st appearance, his 20th in relief. Mentioned that Stanford will be playing at Arizona this weekend. Arizona, the first place team, or at least tied for first with Utah in the Pac-12. Then it's Arizona State coming here to Stanford. A game at Cal mixed in there, and then at UCLA for 3. Those last 4 games are on Pac-12 networks. So Trevor Moore will face Kai Cunningham here, who represents a potential tying run at the plate. It was a 7-1 lead that has turned into 7-4 as Santa Clara scored 2 in the 8th, and now they have a run here in the 9th inning. Again, I told you earlier that Santa Clara had 12 comeback wins, including Sunday against St. Mary's, trying to do it again here. Here's Cunningham, who's been a hero lately as a pinch hitter, and he takes outside 1-0. Today getting the start at the DH position, and he's 0 for 2 strikeouts, but he does have a walk and a run score. Facing Moore here. Chops one over the mound towards second, but the shortstop cuts it off. Haskins throws to first. He got him. Nice play by Haskins. A run scores from third. Lutzo. And on the play, Williams goes to third, and it is now 7-5, but that was a great play by Haskins. Just an outstanding play to get to this ball so quickly, cut in front of the second baseman, and he had to, and he made that play so smoothly. That is out number 1 and a big one. So now runner at third, and here's Ben Cleary, the number 9 hitter, 0 for 3 tonight. And he takes a strike, 0-1. He has struck out, grounded to short, reached on an error by the first baseman, Larson, who was the first baseman, but now it's Nadi. That's a ball, 1-1 to Cleary. He's the number 9 hitter, the freshman. On deck, John Bering at the top of the order. 2-run lead. Cleary checks his swing and fouls it on the right side. 1-2. If you're wondering, Cleary does not have a home run this year, but he is the tying run at the plate. He's trying to get on here to keep it going. 2 in the 8th, now 2 in the 9th for Santa Clara. Moore comes set. 1-2. Fouled back, and boy, Cleary did a good job of just trying to stay alive there. It was a fastball, and I don't know if he was looking for a fastball. Just poked at it. Williams, got an RBI double, is at third base. Pitch to Cleary, way high, 2-2. Throwing a 92-mile-an-hour fastball there. 3 straight hits to start this inning, and then the ground out. Offense coming alive late for Santa Clara. Ground ball, second base. Cobb has it, throws to first, and they got him. Another run scores. So Cleary gets an RBI out of that. That makes it a 7-6 game, but that is a big out number 2 for Stanford. So Cobb coming through. Pretty routine play there. Threw it in the dirt a little bit, but a nice stretch by Nadi. Now the top of the order, and Bering is the final hope for Santa Clara. 1 for 4, a single. He's also reached on an error and scored a run. He has struck out a couple of times, but that was against starter Volchko, who struck out 11. Now fastball down the middle for a called strike, 0-1, 93 on the gun. Moore trying to close this out, trying to get the save here. Trying to save it for Volchko. Curveball in there, called strike. 0-2 to Bering. So now Moore, 1 strike away from getting his first save of the season. 0-2 to Bering on the way. High fly ball, right field. Getting under it. Reynolds got it. Ball game. The Cardinal hang on and win it 7-6. And they split 2 games with Santa Clara over the last week. Great pitching by Joey Volchko. 11 strikeouts, no walks, 1 hit allowed in 6 innings to get his first career win for the freshman. The 11 strikeouts, a career high. And Stanford improves to 20-22. Santa Clara drops to 21-20. as the loss is taken by Schreiber, and he drops to 0-1. Great job by our entire Pac-12 network crew. And Stanford will move on and play this weekend against Arizona. For now, I'm Joe Castellano saying so long from Sunken Diamond, where your final score once again is Stanford 7, Santa Clara 6. Have a great night, everybody.